yeah, it's really interesting down here at the moment. Usually when you come down, all of this is like a complete and utter crater. It's like little mini craters, big mounds of sand. But because of all the storms we've had, literally anyone who lives in Channel Islands or the UK will definitely know about it at the moment. The weather's been absolutely horrendous. Been constant battle with storm after storm. But what it's done is just leveled all of this out pretty much. So that's good to see. And at the top on the tide line, you can't see that very well from here. There's loads of weed and loads of shellfish, empty shells that have washed up, and cousin fish bones, you name it. It's really been some horrible weather lately. But there's actually a bit of a lull tomorrow night, just for a few hours overnight, so that's why I've come down to get some bait. And I'm going to go out tomorrow and target some bass, gilthead bream, black bream, and possibly a red mullet. Now, one thing I will say, which is important, which unfortunately you see a lot of people not bothering to do it, but just if you're going to come down, once you've dug around, just kick the sand back. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just fill in the holes that you've made, and that way it's not left like a crater site like I was saying. I mean, the bad weather will even this out when the tide comes in again, but still, it's always good just to fill the holes. It only takes a minute. And when you're kicking the sand back as well, often you'll find a worm that you've missed. So yeah, kick it back, job's a good one. So yeah, there's a bit of a westerly wind today, which is blowing straight into here. So I apologise for any of the wind noise. Now, I've found a couple of ragworm already. Quite a few small lugworm, but too small to take. I actually went down to the tackle shop just before coming here, and still lugworm there. Yeah, my plan was to always come and dig some bait, but I popped to the tackle shop. I had to get a few bits and pieces, and they had one little tub of ragworm left, so I got that. It's just a sort of back up in case I didn't manage to find any or many here. The last time I came down here didn't do too well. I ended up getting mostly lugworm, which were good. I went fishing that night and caught on them, so wasn't complaining. There's one there. This one's a bit small, but looking for a lot bigger than that. little one. That's what we're looking for. So I've managed to get a few worms, not a lot, but enough to see me through one session tomorrow night. Now, like I said earlier, I got some ragworm from the tackle shop this afternoon. I've got a few ragworm down here and some lugworm as well. So it'll be plenty for a session tomorrow night. I think I'll be out on the east coast of the island. High tide's at about 11 o'clock at night, I think. So I'll probably head out about 8 o'clock. Fish are tied up and probably do one hour of the ebb as well. But yeah, that's it for this little bait digging, and see you out in the next session. Well, good evening. Now I've just got down to the beach. It's the same day. It's now the evening. Went and dug some bait this afternoon, and I've just got to the spot and I'm just in the middle of setting up. I've got my two rods there, neither of them have rigs on yet. I'm going to be fishing with the ragworm and lugworm tonight in the hope of either schoolie bass or possibly a gillhead bream, black bream, cooch's bream, or maybe even a red mullet if I'm lucky. Now, I'm going to be using two different rigs, and on one rod, really can't see much here, but I'm fishing a really simple rig, which is basically just a 2-hook flapper. So I have 30 pound body to the rig, and it goes down to 3-way swivel with just a single, it's a mustard blue inline hook, I think, size 2. It then goes down to another 3-way swivel, and similar thing again, although on this one, really don't know how much you can see there. I have the same mustard hook, but also I have a little size 4 Camazan specimen-eyed hook, and that's just going to work as a pennel basically, with the hope that if there's any small fish about, they may get hooked on that little hook there. And that just goes down to a 4-ounce grip lead, which has got seaweed all over it, and that's it. And the other rig is, if I can find it, where have I put it? Again, just simple. It's a 1-hook clip down rig. It's all pretty tangled at the moment. But yeah, it's a 1-hook clip down rig. So this is 80 pound main body down to 30 pound trace in the hook snood, little bait holder. This is a size 10 Trollinx Pro. Can't remember the specific name. It's a Trollinx Pro hook. And then just down to your lead clip, which again I'll be using a 4-ounce grip lead. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to show you, obviously with it being dark, but I'm going to get these rigged up and baited up now and get them out there as soon as possible. Right, so what I'm doing here is I'm actually using the worms that I got from the tackle shop first, because pretty sure the reason why there was only one box left is because they've been sat there for a long time. They're not in the best of shape. That one nearly pinched me then. This one's better, but the one I put on was dead already. But I'm just going to thread 2, 3, maybe 4, depending on the size of the others, of these onto the hook. There's some bigger ones at the bottom there. That's a nice one. But yeah, On they go. Juice dripping everywhere. I'm just going to snap that one in half. So there we go. Slide the bait stop down, and there you have it. One nice bait ready to go out. This is on the clip down rig. So all I do is just clip the end of the hook onto the lead weight like that. Pretty hard to show you properly here. And yeah, it's ready to go. On the other rig, just get one worm onto the top hook here. Slide that down. I'll just have the 1/2 worm on there. And on the bottom, get this big juicy one. Lost my hook. Now I will apologise if this footage doesn't turn out great, because it really is difficult filming in the dark here with a chest cam, and do my best. There's actually a lot of, I mean, as I said earlier, and as everyone will know, in the UK and over here at the moment, there's been some horrendous weather. So although the wind is shifted from easterly winds to westerly now, I come down on the beach and there's obviously weed everywhere from the previous high tides, so it makes it really slippery. So there's the other worm on there, and I'm just going to put this little hook, I'm just going to slide that down a bit, just wrap it round once or twice and just nip it in the end there, and there we go. Hopefully we'll have a fish munching on that pretty soon. Right, so we've got both rods out now, and it's just a waiting game. Now the time is 5 to 9 and high tide is at 10 to 11, so you've got just under 2 hours until high tide. They're not massive tides at the moment. I think it's just over between 7 and 7.5 metres at high tide. I haven't really fished this spot at this time of year before, so yeah, I'm not too sure whether it's going to be a blank or if we're going to get plagued by dogfish, congers, or if we'll get some pretty decent fish turn up. Now obviously with the rigs I'm using, I'm not targeting anything massive. If a big fish comes along, great. But the reason why I've downsized the hooks is because you do get a lot of bream in this bay, and most of the time they're not the biggest. There's also a chance of a red mullet as well, and I've never actually caught a red mullet. So that was the reason for downsizing the hooks and targeting the smaller species, or smaller fish I should say. Well, immediately after I turned the camera off then, I had my first bite. Now, I have my first fish. Just a little black bream, taken on the bottom hook. So I'm going to get him on hooks and get him back. So there we go. One little black bream. I'm going to go get him back now. That was a little bit of action straight off the bat. That rod was in the water for no longer than 3-4 minutes, and started getting little taps on it. But there we go, goes to show smaller hooks gets you the smaller fish. I mean, I know it's not rocket science, but it can save you from a blank, and if you're lucky, something bigger might come along. Right, I'm going to get this rebaited and back out there. Not too bad of a start. One little fish, one little black bream. I've got the rod back out now, and just had a little tap on it, but that was a good few minutes ago. Nothing's come of it. The right hand rod hasn't moved yet, but it's actually quite pleasant out here now. The wind has dropped quite a bit. It's gone down to 8 miles an hour, northwesterly, so it's nice and sheltered here. There's only a little breeze anyway. It's rather calm. There's a little bit of swell, but nothing, not too big. They do forecast showers throughout the night, but it's like patchy rain clouds, so hopefully we'll get away with it. Just getting another tap on that left hand rod now. Keep an eye on that for a few minutes. That's really annoying because I've got the light on for the camera, and because there's so much seaweed over the bay, there's so many flies about. I poured myself a coffee just before, didn't even get to have a sip before there's about 5 flies in it. Definitely got that fresh sea air smell going on tonight. Now the right hand rod's going. Right, I'll come back to you if there's any action. Well, there we go. This was on the right hand rod this time. It's another little black bream, really small, but managed to get a bigger hook down its mouth on that rig. Now, that really nailed that. But when I pulled into that, I actually felt like a nice fish. But just because I had some weed on the line as well. But yeah, it felt quite weighty at first. I was getting a bit excited. Oh, he's nailed that hook. Right, well, fish number 2 has gone back. It took that hook pretty deep, but just about managed to get it out and chucked him back. He took a while, but hopefully be okay. So both rods back out. I've actually put the right hand rod a little bit closer in now, just as the tide floods in, just on the hope of a little schoolie bass being close to shore. And we're getting a few drizzles of rain here and there, so hopefully it will hold out. I can see some clear sky over the in the horizon there. Oh, left hand rod's going now. Must be a little bream again. Well, those little taps I was having didn't amount to anything. Just brought the rod in and the bait's gone. So whatever it was, I will never know. I'm just going to get rebaited here. Not sure how much of this you can see. I also have to keep an eye on that other rod tip just above my head. So yeah, if we're lucky we'll get a few more fish. I think the majority of them are going to be black bream, but at least it beats sitting at home. And if any beginners or anything can get any little tips from these videos, then great. It's all a bit of fun. We're not out to catch monsters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say no. Alright, let's get this one on the top. And I will say, actually, these worms, it was just the one on the very top that wasn't alive anymore. But I will say the rest of them have been pretty decent, so maybe I was wrong when I thought they were old. Must have just been lucky and got the last tub in the tackle shop. I'm just using half a worm on the top hook there, and I'll probably end up with a bit of bait left. So once I get these older ones, once I've used them, I'll be left with the stuff I dug earlier today, which I can always use tomorrow. I do have a day off tomorrow, so I might be able to get out. The wind is meant to pick up again, unfortunately, in the afternoon, low or late morning afternoon. I think it goes up to about 25 miles an hour again, so not great. But I might go out with the lure rod instead. Now, I've just been getting the odd tap on this rod, and it's only something small. This is on the rod with the slightly bigger hook, the 1.0 Tronics Pro, or the clip down rig. I'm just seeing if it's going to come back. Yep. Oh no, are we on? I think we are on. I think my line might be tangled around the tip light. I think it is, it's tangled around the tip light. I can't actually tell if there's anything on here. I think there is. Yeah, there is. Oh, snag. There we go. What have we got? It is another black bream, but a bit bigger, that one. Some nicer size. Let's get him up to the beach and unhooked. There we go. One black bream. Fairly better size, that one. Definitely bigger than the first two. But yeah, what happened there? My line was wrapped round the tip light on the rod, so I thought it felt odd, so I was bringing it in. But as you can see there, nailed that hook. So I'll get him off the hook and get him sorted out. Well, unfortunately he's not going to make it, this one. He swallowed the hook really far down, but luckily he is oversized, so I'll be keeping that one for dinner tomorrow night. As I'm baiting up now, I can see I'm getting taps on my other rod. But again, just something small, so they are just little taps, which is more than likely bream again. Right, how many worms do I have left in here? I think that might be the lot. Oh no, there's one more. Just going to snap that one in half. Sorry if you can't see much, but I'm just putting a bit of a bigger bait on this rod now. So there we go. There's probably more ragworm on my fingers than there is on the hook at the moment. Chuck this out and hopefully find a bigger fish. I'm getting a few good bangs on that left hand rod, but nothing's connecting. I'm just going to leave it, because whatever it is that's biting at it, it's small anyway. But yeah, right, it's coming up to 20 past 10, so we're half an hour off high tide. Just had the 3 black bream, but I'm getting bites pretty consistently. I'm pretty certain they're all from bream. Still going that rod. And, yeah, up the size of the bait on the clip down rig, just in the hope of a bigger fish really. So I'm going to fish up to high tide, and I'll probably do an hour into the ebb. I wasn't sure how long I was going to stay out, but it's a fairly nice night, so might as well make the most of it before it blows up again tomorrow. And at least we're getting a little bit of action. I know they're not the greatest fish of all time to catch and film, but it definitely beats a blank. So I'm going to keep an eye on that rod, and anything else happens, you'll be the first to know. Well, I was wrong by saying that the little bites were bream. We have a little pout. Now that is perfect live bait. So I'm tempted to change rigs and chuck this out there, and that would definitely be in the hook for that. So I might get on that right now. Right, what I've just done is set up a different rig, which is a sliding ledger rig. Now this is a swivel to your main line, you have a bead, a connector for your lead weight, another bead to another swivel. That allows the lead to slide up and down the line. Then I've got about 2.5 foot trace to a size 3/0 hook with that pouting on the end. Now what the sliding ledger does is it means that any indication of bite you're getting on your hook length registers straight to the tip, the rod tip. So without further ado, I'm going to get this out. Right, I've got that little pout out there on the sliding ledging rig. Now, I've not chocked it very far, I've left it fairly close in, probably only about 25, possibly 30 metres out. And I'll leave that for about half an hour, just see on the off chance anything bigger comes along. It's actually on my smaller rod as well, so I've set the drag, because if something takes that, it's going to go a bit wild. I'm going to keep this other flapper rig out to hand, and if nothing happens on the big bait, I'll switch back to this afterwards. So yeah, as we're approaching high tide, let's see what else is out there. Right, so we're on top of the tide now, or at the top of the tide I should say. It's 11 o'clock, so it is bang on high tide now. Now, nothing happened with the live bait pout. Gave it half an hour, and yeah, no use. So what I've just done is I've rebaited the right hand rod, and that was the last of the ragworm that I got from the tackle shop, and I've put the 2-hook flapper, same ribs I was using before, back onto the rod on the left, and on both hooks I've got ragworm and lugworm. So I did get a little bite on the right hand rod about 5 minutes ago, but it was just one little bite and nothing happened after that. So hopefully we can get another fish before the end of the session. Yeah, I'll probably give it an hour, give it till 12 o'clock. Yeah, just through my own experience, it's never been that productive when the tide turns here and starts to ebb. I know it's great fishing at low tide, but this bay it's a huge bay with large sandy patches which breaks out into really rough ground and big rocky outcrops. So we'll see what happens. We'll give it an hour and see if any fish want to bite. Right, I'm going to call it a night there, I think. It's 11:45 now, and the tide is starting to ebb. Gone down a little bit. Now I've had the occasional knock, but that's about it, and I think it's just those little pouting possibly, or something else very small. Well, it's been nice to get out anyway. It's been nice to get out in between the terrible weather we've been having, and at least got a couple of fish, so can't complain. Now hopefully there'll be a few breaks in the weather over the next few days, and I'll be able to get out. Getting taps on that left hand rod. Can't work out what it is. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope it's been an enjoyable video. I've got a fish on. Well, I don't know what that was, but it was a solid take. It came off as I was bringing it in. It was a really weird take. The rod went over, flipped back, and then just pulled over again and stayed like that. I lifted into it, it was on for a matter of seconds. No idea what that was. Oh, well, it nearly ended the session with another fish. Really can't work out what that was. Really, really odd. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying now. I've still got the one rod out, I'll bring that in now. I'm not going to bother rebaiting and chucking it back out there. I'm going to head off now, got to be up early in the morning. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be out again sometime soon. So see you again. Thinking about it, I think that could have possibly been a cuttlefish or a squid. I mean, I could be totally wrong, and I guess I'm never going to find out. But I think I could have possibly hooked a little pout without realising, and that's why I was getting the little taps, because the way that rod went over was kind of just like a tug. It could have been a cuttlefish or a squid attacking it, and obviously not connected to the hook. Or it could have been something completely different. I guess we'll never know.